My dear friend, understand this great truth. Nothing in your life is accidental. You are hearing these words because your subconscious mind has summoned them. There is a divine movement taking place within you, an inner shift quietly preparing the greatest transformation you have ever known. For every setback, there is a spiritual compensation. For every delay, there is a greater design unfolding. Life is not pushing you down, it is positioning you. At this very moment, the infinite intelligence within you is guiding you toward a remarkable comeback. The power that created worlds resides in your own thought. When you align your mind with this higher power, circumstances begin to reshape themselves in your favor. Doors reopen, strength returns. Opportunities you thought were lost find their way back to you. You are seeing this because your subconscious is ready to release the old story, ready to rise again, ready to claim the victory that was always yours. Your comeback is not merely possible, it is inevitable, for it has already begun in the unseen. Trust this inner nudge. Believe in the silent whisper of the divine within you. Your greatest chapter starts now. Your subconscious is already preparing your comeback, quietly and powerfully, long before you see any evidence in your physical world. The subconscious mind works in silence. It does not argue, it does not question, and it does not hesitate. Whatever seed is planted in it, whether by experience, belief, desire, or imagination, it begins to bring forth into form. Right now, even if your outer conditions appear unchanged, even if you feel stuck or uncertain, your subconscious is rearranging the invisible patterns of your life. It is guiding you toward new possibilities, new strength, and new outcomes. The comeback you are waiting for has already started at the deepest level within you. Every great transformation begins internally before it manifests externally. You don't see the roots growing beneath the soil, yet the plant is already forming. You don't see the silent organization of your subconscious, yet it is working tirelessly, day and night, to align your life with the thoughts and beliefs you are beginning to accept. When you feel a sudden urge to rise again, when you sense that something new is coming, when you start imagining better days despite your circumstances, that is not random. That is your subconscious responding to a higher call. It hears your desires long before you speak them, and it responds with precise intelligence. The subconscious mind has perfect memory, perfect order, and perfect connection to the infinite intelligence that governs all things. It knows the path to your comeback, even when you don't. It knows which opportunities need to appear, which people need to enter your life, which old patterns need to dissolve, and which strengths within you must awaken. It guides you through intuition, through inner nudges, through sudden clarity, and even through discomfort that pushes you away from the past and toward a greater future. Many people believe that a comeback begins when circumstances improve. But Joseph Murphy teaches that circumstances improve only after the inner change has taken place. The moment you start believing in your own rise again, the moment you reject the old story of limitation, the moment you accept the idea that something greater is destined for you, your subconscious begins its creative work. It reorganizes everything. Your emotional responses, your energy, your attitude, your confidence, your habits, and your opportunities. It gently pulls you away from what no longer serves you and pulls you toward what is aligned with your comeback. Even your challenges are being reordered. What once defeated you will now strengthen you. What once held you back will now propel you. Your subconscious uses every past experience as material for your elevation. Nothing is wasted, nothing is random, and nothing is lost. The very experiences that broke you are being transmuted into wisdom, resilience, and inner power. This is how the subconscious prepares you, by turning pain into purpose, confusion into clarity, and fear into fuel. If you feel restless lately, if you feel that something bigger is calling you, if you feel a quiet urge to change, to rise, to do more, to become more, understand this. Your subconscious is already moving you. The shift has begun. You are being guided into alignment with a future that matches the highest version of you. You don't have to force it, you don't have to strain, and you don't have to control the details. Your only task is to allow this inner transformation to unfold through belief, imagination, and trust. Your comeback is not waiting for external permission, it has already started within you. The subconscious has accepted your new intention, and once it accepts, creation begins. The force that moves galaxies is now moving your life toward restoration, renewal, and victory. All you need to do is walk forward with faith, because the unseen work is already done. Every setback was a setup for your elevation, even if at the time it felt like everything was falling apart. Life often hides its greatest gifts inside moments that seem unfair, painful, or confusing. What you thought was a detour was actually a divine redirection. What you thought was a loss was in truth a preparation. The universe, your subconscious mind, and the deeper intelligence guiding your life were never punishing you, they were positioning you. Each experience, especially the difficult ones, was shaping the strength, wisdom, and clarity required for the next stage of your journey. You were not being pushed down, you were being prepared to rise higher than ever before. There are moments in life when everything collapses at once, relationships break, opportunities disappear, finances crumble, health weakens, or dreams seem to drift away. In those moments, you naturally feel defeated and wonder why things are happening to you. But just because you couldn't see the purpose then, doesn't mean there wasn't one. Joseph Murphy teaches that every event contains a spiritual message, and every experience can lift you closer to your true potential when understood correctly. The setback was not the end of your story. It was the beginning of a greater chapter. You were being separated from the old, shaken out of stagnation, and moved away from situations that could never support the person you were destined to become. The truth is, you outgrew certain cycles long before you realized it. Your subconscious mind recognized that you needed more, deserved more, and were capable of more. But sometimes as humans we cling to the familiar even when it no longer serves us. So life intervenes. It closes doors you never would have closed. It removes people you never would have walked away from. It disrupts comfort zones you never would have left. And though it hurts, it is always for your elevation. The setback is the catalyst. It cracks the old shell so the new self can emerge. Think back to how your past challenges shaped you. The strength you developed, the resilience you never knew you had, the inner clarity that only hardship could reveal. Those qualities were carved into you through struggle. If the road had been smooth, you would not have discovered the depth of your courage. If everything had gone your way, you would not have learned the discipline, patience, and faith that now reside in you. Every delay taught you endurance. Every rejection redirected you to something better. Every disappointment forced you to refine your vision. Slowly, without knowing, you were being elevated internally first. The subconscious mind uses setbacks as building blocks. When you face difficulty, your mind is rewired for greater possibilities. Your beliefs shift, your priorities change, your inner dialogue becomes stronger. You learn to rely on the power within rather than external validation. You begin to understand your worth and your capabilities in a deeper way. What felt like breaking was actually rebuilding. What felt like loss was actually gain in disguise. You were being shaped into someone who can handle the blessing coming your way. What you considered the worst season of your life was the training ground for your comeback. The pain expanded your capacity, the confusion sharpened your vision, the struggle grew your soul. You may not have seen it then, but you were being lifted slowly, steadily, and purposefully toward a higher level of life. Now you're reaching the moment where the elevation becomes visible. The inner work is complete, and the outer world is beginning to shift. The setup is becoming clear. What you went through did not break you, it built you for the greatest rise of your life. Divine order is aligning opportunities in your favor, even when you cannot see anything happening on the surface. There is an intelligent rhythm moving through your life, a higher orchestration that knows exactly where you need to be, who you need to meet, and what experiences will elevate you to your next level. This divine order is not random, chaotic, or accidental. It is precise, purposeful, and perfectly timed. Every situation you encounter, every door that opens, every path you feel drawn toward is part of a larger design working quietly behind the scenes. Even the moments that seem slow or stagnant are part of this alignment, because divine timing is not governed by impatience, it is governed by wisdom. Many times, people believe that nothing is happening simply because they cannot see the movement. But the deepest transformations occur in the invisible. Seeds break open underground long before the plant appears. Foundations are built before any structure is visible. Likewise, opportunities in your life begin forming in the unseen. Conversations you are not yet part of, decisions being made without your knowledge, people thinking of you, doors preparing to open. These are the mechanisms of divine order. Your subconscious mind communicates with this greater intelligence, guiding you toward what belongs to you and away from what could hinder your growth. When something leaves your life unexpectedly, when a plan falls apart, or when a situation shifts abruptly, it is often because divine order is clearing the path. What you might interpret as loss or rejection is frequently redirection. You are being moved out of alignment with what is too small for you and repositioned for something greater. The universe cannot give you what you are destined for if your hands are still full of what was never meant to stay. The clearing is part of the blessing. The disruption is part of the alignment. The delay is part of the preparation. Opportunities aligned by divine order never require you to diminish yourself. They meet you at the level of your true potential. They appear when you are internally ready, not when you are impatient. This is why the inner work is so important. Your mindset, beliefs, and emotional state must match the opportunities coming your way. As you think higher, you attract higher. As you believe in greater possibilities, greater paths unfold. Your subconscious mind is constantly broadcasting your inner state into the universe, and divine order responds by arranging external circumstances that vibrate with your inner truth. There have been moments in your past where things unfolded so smoothly, so unexpectedly, that you knew it wasn't just you making it happen. It was as though something was helping you, guiding you, opening doors that should have been locked. That same force is working now, only in a much deeper and more powerful way. You are entering a season where alignment becomes your normal experience. The right people show up without effort. The right opportunities approach you instead of you chasing them. The right decisions become clear instead of confusing. Everything begins to flow because divine order is clearing the resistance. When you trust divine timing, stress dissolves. When you trust divine order, fear fades. When you trust the unseen process, you no longer cling to what is leaving, nor panic about what is unknown. Instead, you recognize that every event is part of your elevation. You begin to walk with confidence, knowing that life is not against you. It is supporting you with wisdom far beyond your understanding. Right now, opportunities are already aligning, conversations are being prepared, paths are being made straight. What is meant for you is moving toward you with precision. Divine order does not fail, and it does not forget. It brings exactly what you need at the moment you are ready to receive it. You are being guided into a season where everything falls into place, not by chance, but by perfect cosmic design working in your favor. Your inner belief is recreating your outer reality, because the world you experience is always a reflection of the thoughts you hold most consistently within you. The subconscious mind accepts whatever you impress upon it, and then it expresses those impressions in your circumstances, relationships, opportunities, and emotional experiences. This is not philosophy, it is a law of mind. What you think, you create. What you expect, you attract. What you believe, you live. Your belief acts as a silent architect, shaping your destiny long before you are aware of the changes taking place. Every belief you hold, whether empowering or limiting, forms the blueprint for the conditions you walk into. Many people assume change begins from the outside, but Joseph Murphy teaches that all lasting transformation begins from within. When you shift your belief about yourself, your worth, your potential, and your future, you shift the energy that surrounds your life. The reality you used to tolerate cannot remain because it no longer matches your internal frequency. As soon as the belief changes, the old conditions lose their power over you. People who once discouraged you hold no influence. Situations that once intimidated you no longer shake you. You are rewriting the script of your life from the inside out. If you believe you are unworthy, your subconscious will lead you into experiences that match that belief. But if you believe you are deserving of success, love, abundance, and breakthrough, the subconscious begins reorganizing your life to reflect that new inner truth. It draws the right opportunities to you, dissolves limiting patterns, and awakens dormant strengths. It influences your actions, your decisions, your habits, and even the way others perceive you. Belief is magnetic. It pulls into your experience the things that confirm its presence. There have been moments in your life when you suddenly felt stronger, more confident, or more hopeful, and everything around you began shifting. People treated you differently. Options appeared where there were none. You made choices you once avoided. You handled situations with calm and clarity. This was not coincidence. It was the manifestation of an internal shift. Your outer world was simply responding to the new belief structure forming inside you. The more aligned your inner belief becomes with your highest potential, the more your external environment rises to meet that identity. Your subconscious does not judge whether a belief is good or bad, it simply creates from it. If you dwell on fear, fear grows. If you dwell on possibility, possibility expands. If you dwell on lack, lack multiplies. But if you dwell on abundance, abundance flows. Your life is continually reshaped by what you hold as truth. This is why changing your belief system is the most powerful step toward recreating your reality. When you see yourself as capable, the world begins treating you as capable. When you see yourself as valuable, opportunities recognize your value. When you see yourself as destined for more, more begins to move toward you. Even now, your inner belief is shifting. You are beginning to reject the old limitations that once held you back. You are questioning the doubts that kept you small. You are challenging the narratives that never belonged to you. This internal questioning is the first sign of transformation. When the mind awakens to its power, it no longer accepts a life that contradicts its worth. You are stepping into a version of yourself that expects growth, expects breakthrough, and expects your comeback to unfold. As your belief strengthens, your reality must follow. New opportunities will appear, not because luck has changed, but because your inner frequency has changed. People will treat you differently, not because they transformed, but because you did. Paths will open because your mind now walks with certainty instead of hesitation. Your life is becoming a reflection of your renewed belief, and as your belief continues to expand, so will your reality without force, without struggle, simply by the natural law of mind in action. You rise the moment you accept your higher identity, because everything in your life begins to shift the instant you stop seeing yourself as limited, powerless, or defined by past mistakes. The identity you hold determines the life you live. When you carry the identity of someone broken, life mirrors that belief. When you carry the identity of someone rising, life responds with new paths, new opportunities, and new strength. The moment you realize you are not the person who failed, not the person who was rejected, not the person who was defeated, but the person who times overcame times, you begin to ascend into a completely different level of existence. Accepting your higher identity doesn't mean pretending or forcing confidence. It means recognizing the truth of who you really are, beneath fear, doubt, and old conditioning. There is a deeper version of you, stronger, wiser, more capable, more aligned, waiting to emerge. This higher identity is not something you invent. It is something you remember. You were always meant to live from a place of inner power. You were always meant to walk with clarity, conviction, and purpose. But somewhere along the way, life convinced you to shrink, to question yourself, to forget your inner greatness. Now, your spirit is calling you back to your original strength. When you accept your higher identity, you stop negotiating your worth. You stop apologizing for your dreams. You stop settling for situations that don't honor your value. You rise because you finally recognize that you were never meant to be stuck in the shadows of who you used to be. Your higher identity pulls you forward. It elevates your mindset, upgrades your decisions, and deepens your self-belief. It shifts the way you speak, the way you think, and the way you show up. Suddenly, old patterns lose their grip because they no longer match who you are becoming. Every breakthrough in your life begins with identity. You cannot live beyond what you believe yourself to be. If you believe you are small, you will act small. If you believe you are powerful, you will act powerfully. When you embrace the identity of someone destined for growth, success, healing, and renewal, your subconscious mind aligns with that image and begins to shape your reality around it. People start treating you differently because they sense the shift in your energy. Opportunities recognize your readiness. Life rises to meet your new level of self-understanding. The rise isn't loud or dramatic at first. It begins quietly through new choices, new boundaries, new expectations. You begin letting go of what no longer belongs in the life of someone who knows their worth. You begin stepping into situations that once intimidated you. You begin trusting your intuition, honoring your desires, and believing that you deserve the life calling your name. You rise the moment you accept your higher identity, because that is the moment you stop living from fear and start living from truth. And once you step into truth, everything in your world begins to elevate with you. Nothing can stop a mind aligned with infinite intelligence, because once your thoughts are in harmony with the deeper spiritual power that governs all creation, you move through life with a force far greater than willpower, effort, or strategy alone. Infinite intelligence is the silent, guiding presence that orchestrates the universe, giving rise to ideas, inspirations, solutions, and breakthroughs that your conscious mind could never produce by logic alone. When your mind aligns with this higher power, obstacles lose their power, limitations dissolve, and paths open in ways that seem almost miraculous. You stop acting from fear and start acting from clarity. You stop forcing outcomes and start flowing with divine timing. Alignment begins when you trust that there is a greater wisdom within you, your subconscious mind, your inner guidance, your intuitive knowing. This inner wisdom is connected to a universal source of intelligence that never fails, never doubts, and never struggles. When you silence fear, doubt, and confusion long enough to hear its voice, you step into a different level of thinking. Suddenly, you're guided toward ideas that elevate you, opportunities that empower you, and decisions that strengthen you. You become receptive to inspiration that seems to arrive from nowhere, yet it arrives at the perfect moment. This is not chance, it is infinite intelligence responding to your openness. A mind in alignment is calm, even in chaos. It sees beyond temporary appearances and recognizes the potential hidden beneath every circumstance. Instead of reacting, it responds with wisdom. Instead of fearing setbacks, it looks for the lesson and the redirection. Instead of shrinking under pressure, it rises with inner certainty. This is because infinite intelligence does not operate in panic or confusion. It operates in clarity, order, and purpose. The more you align with this inner order, the more your outer world reflects it. Nothing can truly block someone who thinks from this higher place. Obstacles that used to discourage you become stepping stones. Challenges that once overwhelmed you become opportunities to grow. People who once doubted you lose their influence over your mind. You become unshakable, not because life becomes perfect, but because your perception becomes powerful. You are guided by intuition instead of fear, by vision instead of limitation, by faith instead of doubt. When your mind is aligned with infinite intelligence, you begin to see solutions before the problem fully forms. You sense opportunities before they appear. You know when to move and when to wait. You act with confidence, not desperation. And because your actions are aligned with a higher wisdom, they carry greater impact. Small steps lead to big outcomes. Simple decisions create massive shifts. The universe supports everything you do because your energy matches the truth of who you are becoming. In this state, success is not forced, it is attracted. Peace is not temporary, it is natural. Growth is not fragile, it is inevitable. Nothing can stop you because you are no longer operating solely from personal effort. You are operating from universal power flowing through you. When your mind aligns with infinite intelligence, you become unstoppable not by force, but by divine alignment. You stand today at the threshold of a profound transformation. Everything you have heard in this message has been guiding you back to your inner truth. The truth that your comeback is not only possible, not only underway, but guaranteed by the very laws that govern the mind and the universe. Your subconscious has already begun preparing the path ahead. Every setback that once discouraged you has secretly been shaping your strength. Divine order has been moving silently, aligning the right opportunities, the right people, and the right moments in perfect harmony. You are no longer living from the limitations of your past because your inner belief is recreating your reality from a higher level. You are stepping into your true identity, the identity of someone powerful, capable, worthy, and divinely guided. As this identity becomes your foundation, you rise naturally, you rise steadily, you rise confidently. And with a mind aligned to infinite intelligence, nothing can stop the unfolding of your destiny. You are not here by accident. You were drawn to this message because a greater chapter of your life is calling you. The universe is not done with you, it is preparing to elevate you. The ideas you feel stirring, the strength awakening inside you, the quiet sense that something bigger is coming, these are not illusions, they are signals. They are confirmations that your comeback has already begun in the unseen and is now moving into your visible world.